What's going on, my people? This is your host, Blanche Eden with Black Trending News. This is episode 15, and today we're going to be talking about how companies are using technology to flag anything that will conflict with their company values and their image and their reputation with their customers and online, etc. And they look for racist or sexist, bigot-like comments that are on your social media page and determine whether they're going to hire you or not. So let's say, for example, they could look at your resume and really like your resume. They can use this technology, which is from a California-based company called Fama Technologies. They can use this, and this is probably just one of them. I haven't researched a list of them. That's just the one that I'm going to be referring to today, based on an article from CNN Business back in April. Okay, now they can love your resume and then look at your, get some flags from social media, some red flags, and determine whether they want to bring you in for an interview. Or based on this article, they can even bring it up to you and ask you about those comments right in your interview and make it a determination. So you could be qualified for a job, but if you're saying some stuff that are going to maybe cost this company down the line as far as their reputation, or even in a lawsuit, which is going to cost them financially, you won't get hired. So this is definitely something I want to talk about today, because hiring the wrong person is usually costly for a company, depending on how serious it is. And interviews are often the only way employers have to get to know a candidate personally before they offer them a job. If you don't know, hiring an employee is an investment for a company. A lot of times it costs them money to hire you. So they take it pretty seriously. It hurts them. They lose money. While background checks and reference checks are standard for most new hires, they don't always catch behaviors that can clash with a company's culture and values and create a toxic work environment. California-based Fama Technologies is offering another layer of screening to help identify risky applicants before they get hired. It uses artificial intelligence to analyze a person's public digital footprint to find problematic behaviors like sexual harassment, bigotry, and bullying. Quote, if you make a hire and it turns out they were posting sexist, racist, and other lunacy online, that is not only a liability for an employer, it also calls into question your ability of making a hiring decision, says Alex Granovsky, an employment lawyer in New York City. Fama, which was launched in 2015, creates risk profiles for job applicants or even current employees by scouring publicly available content online, including social media, message boards, blogs, news articles, and comment sections. Wow, comment sections that can be tied to a current or prospective employee. Now, they're saying that they don't score, and there's no thumbs up or thumbs down, and they don't say anything about the person themselves. They can only say this piece of text is an example of bigotry. So they can see what you post and determine whether it is bigotry or not. They make the call and the company makes the decision. About 12 to 15% of the time, a report will affect an employment or a hiring decision, says Moniz. Companies using Fama are legally obligated to share the report with job candidates and employees to contest or explain the results, according to Moniz, who added the accuracy on reports is 99.98% is reported by candidates. Companies can select which behaviors to focus on for the screening, but sexism, bigotry, and violence are the most frequently searched categories. But there are some categories of information that are off limits. Employees have protections when it comes to hiring discrimination. It is illegal for an employer to discriminate against a job applicant based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, or disability. FAMA says it ensures companies never interact with these protected classes of information. Really quick, I don't think companies need FAMA technology or other businesses like that. I mean, if you have a Facebook account and you use your real name and you're going for a job interview, and your account is not private, all they got to do is search for your name on Facebook or search for your name on Instagram. So this is an easier way for companies to, scout for stuff and look for specific things that a company may not have time to do. But if they have time to do it, it'd be very easy for them to go on your page. So let's say, for example, you have a picture with, a black person or a white person, and this company has an issue with race and they're racist themselves. Are they not going to hire you based on your social media page? My advice, make your page private. But this technology that they're using will also target comments. So even if your page is private and you make comments and you're a commenter, you voice your opinion, and something you say in one of those comments don't, rub a company the wrong way, they will judge you if they choose to, off of, if you say 3 comments that they don't like. There's your job opportunity, even though you're qualified and you need a job. So their advice is to be careful what you put online, period. Because these companies are doing these like drug tests. They're doing them while you're employed as well. Okay, let's get into that. Quote, "Every person controls their own social media," said Granovsky. "You choose what you put up there, and there are consequences for making statements that offend others. It can result in not being hired, job loss, or even a punch in the face." I'm not sure what they mean by that. While most of the screens are for potential hires, FAMA has recently seen a large increase in the number of companies running checks on current workers. It's about level setting. It's saying maybe where you grew up or where you worked, this stuff could be okay, but here at this company, it's not, says Moniz. So that's their idea. Like if you are currently using things, but what if it was a comment from 2015 and you're working in 2017? Are they going to judge you on that? But like this article states, they have to ask you about it, and then I guess they will, judge you from there and determine whether you're still, capable of working with them and you're no longer a risk or not. The company has more than 120 clients and screens 20,000 people a month. Now, they're not saying which company this is, but I'm sure a lot of companies are not going to come out and say that they're doing this. So we have to use our common sense, right? In 2018, FAMA screened more than 20 million pieces of public content online and found 14.2% of people had red flags or misogyny and sexism, and 10.3% had indicators for bigotry, racism, and hate speech. Almost 12% had red flags for violence, drugs, and crime. So, this has its ups and downs. I'm not going to say this is the worst thing I've ever read. For a company, I can see how it benefits a company. Does this take away a person's freedom of speech? Some would say it does. I have a right to state how I feel. If I feel like, this race is like this, or these type of people, or this sex is like this, I should be able to say it and keep my job. But companies' defense is you are a risk because now you can harass one of our other employers, and now we can get sued because we allowed you to be here. So in other words, you can maybe get taken to court if you're a company, and the court can say, Well, on this person's social media page, Jack, Joe, and Jill state that they are racist, and there's bigotry comments here. Didn't you look into this company, AB or whatever? And the company would be like, well, damn, we didn't. And now it works against the company. So, hello. Interesting. Very interesting. Another thing it says here, Moniz says Fama works with companies in a variety of industries, including major brands and financial services, entertainment, and media and professional sports. The software can also flag drug and alcohol use. But Moniz says the majority of companies aren't looking at these subjects on social media as a factor of employability. Okay. That's strange. You know, I would like to know if I have a drug addict working for me, or an alcoholic working for me, but everybody's different. Personally, I've had to let somebody go that was a functional alcoholic on the job. I had to let her go because she just couldn't do the job and she was always drinking. So I definitely can see how, you know, being an alcoholic, but can you really tell someone's an alcoholic from their social media page? You kind of can't. That's a personal thing, and they could probably get sued up the wahoo for that. So when it comes to that picture of you at a party on Facebook, I guess you don't have to worry about that, is what they're saying. Moniz came up with the idea for Fama after he brought on a new employee at a former company that harassed a fellow colleague. After a few months on the job, after the incident, Moniz realized that the hire had exhibited harassing behavior on social media. He said if he had seen it, he wouldn't have hired the person. Toxic behavior drives down productivity and innovation, said Moniz. Other employees feel disconnected and can feel less focused and less motivated to come to work. The sphere of influence that a toxic employee has will adversely affect others. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you here for this? Do you care? If you're an employer, would you do this? You know, if you have a small business, would you do this? Would you use this to your advantage? Do you check your employers, you know, share that, you know, anonymously or whatever? Let us know what you think. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Thank you for listening. Share this video if you want. Have a good day.